A few days ago, I made a video about graffiti. They call it graffiti. It's sidewalk chalk, where someone wrote many anti-Semitic things and Nazi symbols. And I made the assumption it was going to be a 12-year-old, some dumb kid doing something dumb. Lo and behold, CNN has the update. 12-year-old charged with drawing anti-Semitic graffiti on school playground. Heavens! A 12-year-old took chalk, went to a playground, and wrote offensive things. This sent the community into an uproar. People were terrified. Who was going through this? And look, I'll say this, completely inappropriate. Of course it is. Kids do dumb things. This kid went to town, and apparently he did it twice. So after the first time, it happened again, and he drew a ton of swastikas. I'm not going to downplay the stupidity of what, this kid was doing, but I will also recognize kids are dumb. Kids are stupid. He didn't know what he was doing. He even spelled hail wrong, right? So it's very clearly, the reason why I was so shocked at this story is because it's sidewalk chalk, right? What's the appropriate response for someone drawing chalk on the ground? You grumble, you pull out a hose, and you spray the ground, and you go away, and that's it. End of story. Nothing's permanently damaged. Nobody was hurt by this. I understand people might be scared, but the New York State allocated state police force resources, and they did this big hate crime investigation over sidewalk chalk. Again, it's inappropriate for sure, but I think it was fairly obvious it was going to be a 12-year-old. To everybody. I have to assume New York knew that, but people are so overly sensitive and everyone's a victim that this is what we get. Now, okay, should the police have investigated? Maybe. I mean, I don't know about hate crime resources and state resources. Maybe you look at some cameras, try and figure out who did it, especially after the second time. Should the 12-year-old have been charged? No. Come on, man. And it's not my opinion. Like, it's not just my opinion, right? There's a bunch of people on Twitter who are going after NYPD detectives for, tweeting about their success of capturing the menace that is 12-year-olds with sidewalk chalk. Kids do dumb things. It wasn't spray paint. It was inappropriate. Teach the kid why it was wrong. He's 12. Don't arrest him. But they did. Let's read the story. A 12-year-old boy was arrested and charged with aggravated harassment on Wednesday after anti-Semitic graffiti was found on a schoolyard in Queens last week, according to NYPD spokesperson Detective George Surovakis. Dozens of swastikas, a Nazi eagle, and the words, I'm not going to read that, even though he spelled hail wrong, were found drawn in chalk on the pavement of PS 139 schoolyard Friday morning. New York Governor Andrew Cuomo had directed the state police hate crimes task force to assist the NYPD in the investigation. Bravo. The boy has been released to his mother. Surovakis said police would not provide further details on the case. The boy is expected to appear in court at a later date to face the charge. I am appalled and disgusted by the swastikas and other anti-Semitic symbols of hate that were scrawled in a Queens schoolyard, Cuomo said in a statement before the arrest. In New York, we have zero tolerance for such vile acts of anti-Semitism. Look, I think anti-Semitism is disgusting. I personally don't like, white supremacists, white nationalists, neo-Nazis, all those sorts of things who would go around and graffiti up New York neighborhood and threaten people or try to freak them out. But I think it was fairly obvious at the way this was done that it was going to turn out to be some dumb kid. And it was. 12-year-old. Listen, kids are going to do dumb stuff, and they need to be taught why it's bad. I think this will certainly teach the kid why it was bad, but it also might freak him out and cause him undue anxiety and stress. I don't think he needed to be arrested and charged and go to court. But I will say, it's very likely, I hope that when he goes to court, the judge asks him if the judge will say, do you understand why this was wrong? And the kid will say yes. And he'll say, okay, we're dismissing the charges. Kid, go home. You're fine. I think it's absurd that they arrested the kid in the first place. I don't know. Who am I to say what should or shouldn't be done for kids to teach them what they should or shouldn't do? But I will say, for the 50th time, I will say, in my opinion, the police could have brought him home and yelled at him and explained to him that you can't do this. If you do it again, you could go to jail. You could be arrested. And look, I know this is going to be a surprise to a lot of people. It actually is illegal in New York City to sidewalk chalk. Not an exaggeration. It is. It's considered vandalism. Even though you can spray the chalk off in like 10 seconds, just, you put your thumb on the hose and you squeeze it and yep, it's still illegal. Councilwoman Karen Koslowitz, who represents the district, said on Friday that her office received photographs from a resident in the apartment building next to the school and immediately informed the police. You know what I would do if I saw this? I would inform the janitor. I'd say, sir, would you mind coming with a hose? Or I might just go out with a bucket of water and splash it off and be like, get out of here. You know what I mean? At the time, Kozlowitz said this was an exceptionally scary incident and described the images as just horrible. Man, what a world we're in where a 12-year-old with chalk who has no idea what's going on can terrify a neighborhood. Come on, man. Graffiti... I can't believe this is where we're headed. You know, seriously. Calls for censorship, freaking out over sidewalk chalk. Wow. It really feels like we're just becoming a pathetic, weak nation. Not even nation in the world. Like, humans are falling apart, man. I read a story about a family that was trapped. They were at the beach and a wolf came. And they all, you know, swam out to like a rock where they huddled together for hours as the wolf paced back and forth, you know, shivering. And I'm like, wow, that's crazy because, like, you know, what do you do in the face of a wolf? And then I thought about what would have happened if this was several hundred years ago. The dad probably would have some kind of weapon, and he would have no choice but to try and fight the wolf off. I'm not saying he'd survive, but it's very different today. You know, we don't walk around with, you know, clothing to protect ourselves from combat or anything like that. We don't walk around with guns for the most part anymore. And so there you go, you know. Again, I'm not saying that he should have bare-knuckle boxed the wolf, but it just feels like, at least when you look back at history, humans died more often and were more likely to be prepared for extreme circumstances. And now I think that things have become so comfortable. You know, things are so calm for the most part that we actually have hate crime investigation with state resources over some kid, a 12-year-old kid with sidewalk chalk. But let's take a look at the brave announcement from Chief Dermot F. Shea, NYPD detectives. He said on Friday, 2/22/19, anti-Semitic graffiti was found throughout a Queens playground. The NYPD's hate crime task force now have the suspect, a 12-year-old male, in custody. Great job, NYPD hate crimes. No matter the face of hate, the NYPD partnered with the community and has zero tolerance. The child was processed as a juvenile and released to his family. I'm going to say it. I hope the judge just says, "Get out of here, kid." Like, I hope you've learned your lesson. I was arrested for skateboarding once, and it was because they wanted to make an example, and it was absurd, and the judge was pissed. I was skateboarding downtown at like 2 a.m. in Chicago, and some security guards grabbed me. My friends like skated off. The police came and arrested me for, they tried charging me with a felony because they said skateboarding was criminal damage to federal property. And so that's a federal offense. And I was literally just skateboarding. It's absurd. I ended up going to court, and the judge, he looks down at the paper, and then he looks, you know, with his glasses, he looks down, and then he looks up and he goes, what is this? And I can't remember exactly. I think it was like the prosecutor said this, you know, young man was arrested for skateboarding down in Chicago. And the judge looks at me and he goes, "You were skateboarding?" And I was like, "Yes, Your Honor." He's like, "And they arrested you?" And I was like, "Yes, Your Honor." He's like, "Get out of my courtroom." And he was like, "SOL, boom." And then I was like, "I can leave?" And he's like, you can leave. And I'm like, I'm out of here. Like, so hopefully, like, I don't know if the lesson I learned was that I shouldn't skateboard because there were no signs saying I wasn't allowed to. I had no idea. Me and my friends were just skating around downtown Chicago and they just grabbed me. So hopefully this kid, who also didn't realize he was doing something wrong, is just told, hey, don't do that, right? Like, you know, sidewalk chalk, chill out. But it's not just my opinion. You have a ton of responses to this where people are shocked. This woman responded, "I'm struggling as a Jew and a Queens resident to see how this is the right way to respond. This child should be shown why his actions were wrong, but not by arresting him and putting through the juvenile justice system. He needs to see a social worker, not a judge." Yeah, I mean, I don't have kids, so far be it for me to tell you, you know, what they should or shouldn't be doing. But my God, the moral panic. Jeez, seriously. This person said, "Thank you for catching the perpetrator. However, given the age, and especially if this was a first, I think it would be best to educate, rehabilitate, rather than be overly punitive." This person says, "A 12-year-old child, you're proud of that." See, like, dude, the NYPD, it's like they're tweeting about, "We've done it. We've captured the perpetrator." It's, yeah, congratulations. You caught a 12-year-old kid with sidewalk chalk who scribbled things that were offensive. I don't think we should be proud of allocating resources towards solving this crime in this capacity. Someone said, "You arrested a child for drawing with chalk. Instead of educating him on why doing such a thing only hurts people and allowing him to learn from his mistake, you put him in cuffs." Well, we don't know if he got cuffed. "And arrested him. This isn't a great job. You are mentally ill if this makes you feel proud." There are actually people in this thread, I kid you not, who are defending the police arresting a 12-year-old. Listen, should the police arrest 12-year-olds? It really depends. If the 12-year-old pulled out a weapon and harmed someone, absolutely. Lock that kid up. Something's not right. But should the police be arresting a kid because he scrawled things with chalk? No, I think here's what you should do. Tell the kid, scare him, say like, ooh, they want to arrest you for a hate crime because this is, offensive. And then when the kid gets scared, be like, but we'll tell you what, they've agreed to, if you take a hose and you clean it, then you won't be arrested. And maybe the kid will get some anxiety and go, oh man, I shouldn't do that again, right? I don't know if arresting him is the right thing to do, but, ultimately in the end, what really matters is what the judge is going to do with him. So congratulations, NYPD. You've allocated state resources towards investigating this heinous hate crime. And hopefully, with your rigorous investigation, the menace of 12-year-olds with sidewalk chalk will be finally put to an end. I'm out. I'll see you guys in the main channel, youtube.com/timcast at 4 p.m.